we always tried to have this idea that we could learn from every patient, that learning health systems could get smarter every day. We looked to software like search, where actually with each search, the engine gets smarter. It's a closed loop system so that you could see someone puts in some input and you can see whether it's the right output. But in healthcare, it's so complicated and so difficult. We've never been able to fully achieve real-time learning, but now with technology, it actually is within our grasp. It's possible for us to do it. It's amazing because we can now collect the information every day, every minute from every patient. And because of the computational power that we have now and the algorithms and foundational models, we're able to take unstructured data and structured data and be able to use it so that the doctors and patients can take advantage of the experience of every patient up until just yesterday, up until just a minute ago. So I think we can finally get to a learning health system. And I hope in the next 5 years, there will be a rapid acceleration so that we'll be able to see the fruits of the work that has been done to produce the possibilities through the technology, that we can get smarter from every interaction with every patient. It won't be easy, and we'll have to be careful to ensure that we're not getting bad information. But I actually think that with the new technology, it's possible for us to say that today we can take advantage of everything we learned up until yesterday. And so I'm very optimistic about this future. You know, we have had this problem where there's been a big difference between the opportunities for health among rich and poor, among people living in certain rural areas and in urban areas, and people who are minorities sometimes don't have the same opportunities. It's imperative that we create a system where every single person has the opportunity to achieve the very best health possible. It starts with improving the environment so everyone is exposed to the same kind of environment that enables a healthy future. That means we have to pay attention to air quality and noise and other things that can affect health, stress. But also beyond that, with the healthcare system, we need to be sure that every single individual has access to the highest quality healthcare. Now, with technology advancing, we can now bridge the gap, because in the past, it's been impossible for the number of experts, the number of expert cardiologists, for example, to be enough to be able to provide expert consultation to all the people who needed them. But with AI and new technology and telemonitoring and all the sorts of things that extend the experts, we're going to be able to take care of more people better, because we can use the technology to leverage our abilities to be able to scale to more individuals. So I really think the technology will be part of the solution. Now, technology is not always the whole solution, because you need to be able to say, how can I help the person in front of me? How can I understand their preferences, values, and goals? How can I connect with them as a person? So the challenge will be for us to create a system that maintains the essence of medicine, the personalized interactions, but still leverages technology in a way that we can deliver more expertise to more people more rapidly in ways that are more helpful than we have ever done before. The other thing is to make drugs affordable. We need to push to ensure that if we have drugs and devices and interventions that help people, that they're not only reserved for the people who can pay for them, but in fact they're available to a broader range of people. So we have to work hard on that. So it's going to be a solution that takes many sorts of initiatives, but I think it's one that we must succeed in. Global cooperation is essential for us to advance. We're all on the same team. We're all on Team Humanity. That is, we're all people, and we actually all have same aspirations for health. We want to be able to have our health. We want our family and friends to be healthy. We want really to be able to achieve health for everyone. So we only do that if we can work together, because it's such a big challenge to figure out, how do we get the knowledge we need? How do we deliver that knowledge? How do we make sure people actually benefit from the research and new breakthroughs that are happening? You know, we need to be able to learn from each other around the world. We need to break through borders and boundaries and really see that we're all on the same group working together. Now, you know, it's not really about one type of question. It's really about how can we, in the midst of a world that sometimes is presenting challenges, that geopolitics can be complicated, and in some ways countries are moving apart from each other economically and in other ways, But we in healthcare, we have to set an example about how we actually can work together in very constructive and important ways, that we can align ourselves for common goals to help elevate humanity, to help people all around the world, because there's so many people in need of best healthcare, of strategies that will help them achieve the very best health. So I really am believing that it's not about a specific area, but it's about people getting to know each other and finding ways to collaborate and cooperate, and understanding that really our goal together is the same. And so we need to be able to be very persistent, dedicated. We need to have the aspiration that really this comes from working together. So, you know, I think we need to know that there may be other forces going on, and there may be trends occurring among countries, but we in healthcare need to know that we're all on the same team, work together, and see if we can help elevate health all throughout the world. Yeah, this is such an important question. When you're having the privilege of leading a journal, you have to first think, what am I trying to accomplish? And for me, this was an opportunity to think broadly about how the journal can be a platform to help promote the building of communities, the connection across countries, the common goals of trying to elevate health worldwide. I articulated from the very beginning that the journal was about advancing global cardiovascular health, that we weren't going to be chasing impact factor, but we were going to be chasing impact. And that we were going to do this with integrity. We were going to do this in a way that was going to be very inclusive, that we weren't going to look at papers and say, well, is that going to get a lot of citations? We were going to say, is that going to be a paper that might move the field, that will provide information that will help people? We're interested in research that will ultimately, pragmatically improve the lives of people. And so we have a very keen eye on what kind of work might be able to be practically important. Now, we're willing to say we want to publish early stage, because also that will tell us about what the future is. So we will publish early stage research, but we want to be able to see people think hard about how does that translate all the way ultimately into helping people in their lives. We also want to be able to publish studies that focus on implementation, bridge the gap between what we know and what we're actually doing to help people be healthy. Because sometimes we have great discoveries, we have wonderful research, but actually it doesn't reach the people. And so the journal has to be concerned with how do we publish, and then how do we make sure clinicians and patients learn about the research, understand how it can help them in their work or in their lives. And so we're working very closely with many different groups to ensure that we can not finish when we publish. Actually, that's when the work begins. We publish, but now we have to work hard to make sure we're disseminating adequately. We're working on what I call derivative products, so videos and news feeds and other ways that will reach people. Because what we've learned is that in today's world, people consume information in very different ways. And so we have to meet them in the way that they consume information. Some people looking on their phones all the time, or they're looking at feeds or social media, other different places. So our main job is to produce great science, help work with authors, publish very important pieces. We have to make wise judgments. We have to be fair. We have to make sure this is impactful work. But then we have to make sure those publications make a difference in the world. To publish great research and have no one notice, no one read it, no one understand it, means that it doesn't do anything. So we have to be able to work hard to ensure we're publishing the right work, we're being fair and inclusive, but then we're working hard to make sure people learn of it and can use it. That way, our goal is to see people's lives improve, health of the world improve. And so the journal has to be playing a very critical role. We also want to be working with young people, the next generation. The next generation will be the greatest generation of scientists. We have to know that early in their careers are fragile. They need some guidance. They need a journal that can be kind and helpful. And so we want to do that for everyone, but in particular for the next generation. We want to work hard so we can help them achieve their promise and make contributions to the world that will make a difference. Yeah, it's really important that the journals be a catalyst for positive change, that we play a role in the positive future that we can have. We just don't sit back and describe what's happening and then see it's not exactly what we want, but being part of a community that helps shape the future in positive ways. That sometimes means that we need to publish things that do question conventional wisdom, that we're not just endorsing the status quo, but that we're aspiring for a better future. You know, we won't get better if we continue to do the same things we've always done. We need to be creative, thoughtful. We need to think of new ways of reaching people, of helping promote better health. That means that sometimes the way things aren't the way that they should be. And the journal needs to be a place, a platform where people can put forth new ideas. They get a chance to test them with the community. They get a chance to spark dialogue and for people to be thinking deeply about what should we be doing differently? What are we doing now that's not actually contributing to the better health of people worldwide? What should we be doing differently and better? And so it's very important that we be thinking in a way that's new and open and actually inviting people to say, how do you question the established way that we do things and what can we do better and new? So there's some things that are very important for us to progress. One is that we're able to share data openly. I really believe strongly in open science. That means that we're in partnership with researchers all around the world. And when we're doing work, we're willing to share and be open about what we've produced. There's a replication crisis within science. That is, someone can publish a study and no one actually can repeat the study. Or sometimes people can make mistakes and no one can discover the mistakes because everyone's holding tight to their data. There's no one who can look at what they've done and identify it. And we don't need to feel shame. No one's perfect, but we have to be able to be open so people can look at what we've done and help us to see whether we've done the right things or make suggestions how we can do better. It will also accelerate science because once people have collected data, they can make it so many other people can work with that data. Maybe they can't afford to collect data, but they have skills that in analysis and they can contribute. So it's very important for us to think about how we share data, and also for patients to be able to get access to their data and access to the results of studies and be able to make decisions about how their data will be used. Now, that's an important value. Another very important value is to protect the privacy of the data of individuals. When we're researchers and we get the privilege of working with data from individuals, we have to take that very seriously. People's privacy, their privacy around their most intimate information about their health is so important for us to be able to be sure that we have the systems in place so it doesn't leak, there's no breaches, other people don't find out about it. And we really do everything we can to protect it. So I think both things can be true. One is that we're willing to share data, but we're shielding the identities of the patients. We're protecting their individual privacy. We're using everything we can with technology and clever approaches to data to ensure that it's safe. People can feel that they can trust the system, that they can share their data into the system and know that it's being used by researchers to help people around the world, but that their individual information will not be given to anyone else in ways that exposes to others information that they would prefer to keep private. We've got to be able to have the trust of the people. And so we need to be worthy of that trust, and we need to be able to show them transparently, what are we doing to protect their information so that it's only being used for good purposes, for doing the research, but it's never being sold, it's not being done with anything behind their backs, but actually we're telling them always, you know, how are we doing this and what are we trying to do to ensure that they can trust us. I think of the patients actually as our partners. I want them to feel like they are part of the studies. When we're able to use their data for important things, I want them to feel pride. I want them to feel that they've made a contribution also. But I also want them to feel safe, feel like they haven't exposed their most intimate information for other people to learn about, but that they know that they can trust us, that we're going to take good care of it. We will be good stewards of their data. It's essential that we teach new researchers that this value is critical, and also the communication back and the transparency to the people participating in the studies. What are we doing? What results do we find? And how are we protecting their data? All of this is going to be important to the next generation of research.